chaos at Ibrox as Zalazar loses the plot with a headbutt, sparking UEFA action and global outrage, while the media accuse Raskin of play-acting like a baby. James Tavernier defends Nasser Djiga after a shocking blunder costs Rangers vital points, but was it really just one mistake? Youssef Chermiti hits rock bottom with one of the worst attacking displays ever seen in Europe. 0 dribbles, lost possession every 2 touches, and now being labelled the worst Rangers signing since liquidation. And Rangers chase a €5 million wonder kid from Germany's 2nd tier. Go on and drop a like now, because I speak the truth, no matter who it upsets. You've just watched 90 minutes at Ibrox, where Rangers looked set to grab all 3 points, only for utter madness to steal the spotlight. 1-1 was the final score against Braga, but let's be honest, that barely scratches the surface. James Tavernier, Mr. Reliable from the spot, got us ahead with a cool penalty after a clear shout earlier was waved away. Even Ali McCoist was losing the rag in the commentary box, fuming we didn't get that first one. And just as you thought Rangers would kick on, chaos broke loose. Rodrigo Zalazar, in what can only be described as a daft, brainless moment, stuck his forehead into Nicolas Raskin. VAR didn't blink. Red card. Off he went. Now Keith Hackett, a former FIFA ref, came out and said UEFA will act, calling it violent conduct. 3-match ban incoming for Zalazar, and rightly so. But here's where it gets even tastier. World media is now chiming in, and the takes are as sharp as a broken bottle in a Govan back lane. A bowler in Portugal are calling Raskin a baby for his reaction, like he's somehow in the wrong god for getting butted in the face. L'Equipe and kicker hammered Rangers for not seeing the match out, with a man advantage, saying we blew our best chance in the group. And Spanish outlet Marca, they're only interested in hyping Braga's equaliser, brushing over the blatant indiscipline that should have buried them. Let's not get it twisted, Braga should have been dead and buried, but instead the story's been spun to paint Raskin as the villain and Zalazar as the hard man, and McCoist nailed it. It was stupidity, bordering on gross stupidity. It wasn't brave, it wasn't clever, it was cowardly. Zalazar let his team down, but some folks seem more bothered about Raskin falling over than the fact their man tried to nut him. Here's the real kicker. If that was a Rangers player doing that at Ibrox, do you think the media would be brushing it off like this, or would they be calling for lifetime bans and public apologies? Is the European media showing double standards when it's Rangers involved? Or is it just open season for anything wearing royal blue? James Tavernier stood up like a real captain should, not just from 12 yards, but in front of the microphones as well. But what do we get? A howler from Nasser Djiga. Misreads the cross, Gabriel Martinez pounces, and suddenly Braga are level with just over 20 minutes left. It was the kind of lapse that knocks the wind right out of you. And listen, Djiga's been catching pelters ever since from just about every direction. Yet Tavernier came out and told you to ease up. No blame game, no finger pointing. He said what needed to be said, that Rangers should have had the game done and dusted long before Djiga's error. He's not wrong. Against 10 men at Ibrox with the momentum, there's no excuse. But Tav's message is clear. It's not one man's fault, it's a collective failure to finish the job. And still, that raw moment of equaling McCoist's European record didn't even register with him. He couldn't celebrate it. That's how much the result stung. And fair play, because drawing with Braga under those circumstances is frankly embarrassing. The stats don't lie either. Possession nearly even, big chances equal, and Braga's keeper was busier than ours. Yet they leave Ibrox with the same number of points as we do. Tav's leadership in protecting Djiga is commendable, but you've got to ask, would Tavernier be defending Djiga like that if it was Sutar who lost the man for the goal? Or is he only shielding him because he's a lone player who might not be here come January? Youssef Chermiti was handed a golden ticket under the lights against Braga with everything to prove and the perfect stage to do it. And once again, he turned it into a horror show. Let's call it what it was: brutal. A striker brought in for up to £10 million, now being spoken about as possibly the worst signing since the club's rebirth. And you can't exactly argue against it, can you? 0 successful dribbles, just over 50% pass accuracy. 18 times he lost the ball, 18 from just 39 touches. That's once every 2 touches. You'd get more composure from a Sunday League forward. In a muddy 5-a-side in Maryhill, Tavernier stuck away the penalty, gave Rangers the lead, and from there you expected the front line to stretch Braga, to dominate the box, to bury the game. Instead, Chermiti drifted about like a boy lost in the barras, struggling to connect, panicking in possession and looking more out of place than a teetotaler at a Hogmanay party. Yes, he won a few headers, but if you're signing someone for nearly £10 million just to win flick-ons, you've been absolutely conned. And remember, this isn't a kid who came through our academy for free. This is the second most expensive signing in the club's post-liquidation history, brought in by a recruitment team that's already been shown the door. You've now got Danilo, JD Gassama, Oliver Antman-Miovski, and young Mikey Moore all pushing for minutes. Meanwhile, Chermiti's been gifted start after start and done next to nothing to justify it. 1 goal in the league against Kilmarnock, and even that felt like a collector's item. Danny Rolls running out of patience, and you wouldn't blame him. At some point, sentiment has to make way for standards. If you can't dribble, can't link up, can't hit the target, and can't even hold the ball, then what exactly are you doing wearing that badge? Be honest, has there ever been a more overpriced, underwhelming striker in Rangers' modern history than Youssef Chermiti? Right, here's the latest transfer buzz, and it's a name you probably weren't expecting. Rangers are sniffing around Berkay Yilmaz, a 20-year-old left-back currently turning heads at Nuremberg in the German second tier. A few eyebrows raised? Aye, understandably so. But the Turkish under-21 international's been in cracking form. 4 goals from 14 games this season. Not bad at all for a fullback. Now, here's where it gets tricky. The boy's not even Nuremberg's to sell. He's on loan from Freiburg, and they've got a recall option in January for a measly €300,000. But make no mistake, if Rangers want him permanently, it'll cost €5 million minimum. That's no small change, especially in January, and especially when we've just had a summer recruitment campaign that looked more like a tombola than a strategy. But let's be fair, Yilmaz has pace, energy, and attacking intent. He's the kind of modern fullback Danny Roll clearly fancies, and with Barisic blowing hot and cold and Ridvan Yilmaz still struggling to fully convince, there's a hole to fill on that left side. Thing is, Rangers aren't alone in this. There's interest from France, the Netherlands, Spain, Germany, and Italy. If you're counting, that's 5 leagues ahead of Scotland in the pecking order for young talents looking to boost their careers. Add to that, Bild are saying Yilmaz isn't all that keen on leaving Nuremberg mid-season. He's comfortable, settled, and wants to finish the campaign where he is. So if this moves to happen, Rangers will need to charm the lad, dig deep into the wallet, and hope the Bundesliga big boys don't come knocking first. It begs the question, should Rangers really be spending €5 million on a left-back from the German second division when there are glaring problems all over the pitch, including up front, where we've already wasted millions? Is targeting Berkay Yilmaz in January a smart investment for the future, or another example of Rangers chasing potential over proven quality? When the pressure's already mounting on the pitch, like the video, drop a comment and subscribe for daily Rangers news.